In a village tucked away in the mountains, there lived a young man who struggled with overthinking. He was haunted by his inability to let go of unpleasant memories, replaying them continuously in his mind. If someone spoke harshly to him, or if an event did not unfold as expected, he would spend the entire day thinking about these moments, unable to break the cycle of his recurring thoughts. His habit of overthinking affected his relationships and his ability to concentrate on his work. Seeing no end to his mental turmoil, he was advised by a fellow villager to seek the guidance of a Zen master who resided in a serene monastery nestled in the nearby hills. Taking the advice, the young man journeyed to the monastery, and upon arrival, he was greeted by the Zen master. He poured out his troubles, explaining how he was unable to escape the clutches of his own thoughts, which haunted him day and night. The Zen master listened intently, then without a word stood up and walked inside, leaving the young man waiting in the courtyard, puzzled and slightly anxious. After some time, the Zen master returned, holding a glass of water. He approached the young man, who stood up to greet him. Holding the glass out in front of him, the Zen master asked, "Tell me, how much does this glass weigh?" The young man, confused by the question, replied, "I'm not sure, but it doesn't look very heavy." "True," said the Zen master. "Now what do you think would happen if I held this glass for a minute?" "Nothing much," the young man responded. "And if I held it for an hour?" the Zen master pressed. "You'd probably start to feel pain in your arm," came the reply. "Indeed. And what if I held it for a whole day?" "Your arm would likely become numb. You might experience severe pain and perhaps even cause lasting damage to your muscles," the young man said, beginning to understand what the Zen master is trying to convey. The Zen master nodded. "Exactly. Yet, the weight of the glass doesn't change. The longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes to me and the more pain it causes. So, what should I do to ease the pain?" "Put the glass down," said the young man quickly. "Exactly," the Zen master replied, placing the glass on a nearby table. "Your concerns, your worries are like this glass of water. Think about them for a short while and nothing happens. Think about them a bit longer and they begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day long, you will feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything else. It's important to remember to let go of your problems after you have felt them and considered them. Do not carry them through the day like a burden, or they will poison everything you do." The young man left the monastery with a new perspective. He understood that, like the glass of water, his thoughts were only as heavy as he allowed them to be. By learning to put down the glass, he could free himself from the weight of his worries and lead a life of peace. In our daily lives, we often carry the weight of past experiences and future worries, much like holding onto a glass of water for too long. The longer we hold it, the heavier it feels, even though its actual weight hasn't changed. This simple yet powerful lesson can teach us a lot about how to manage our stress and focus on our well-being. Firstly, it's crucial to recognize when our thoughts are starting to weigh us down. Just as holding a glass for a minute isn't a problem, dwelling on a thought briefly usually doesn't hurt. However, if we find ourselves obsessing over these thoughts for hours or days, they begin to affect our mood, our relationships, and even our health. The key lesson here is learning to put down the glass. This means actively deciding to let go of worries and pressures after acknowledging them. It's not about ignoring your feelings or the importance of the situation, but rather about not letting them take over your life. Applying this wisdom can start small. When you catch yourself thinking too much about a negative thought, acknowledge it, consider what you can do about it, and then consciously shift your focus. This could be as simple as changing what you're doing, such as going for a walk, talking to someone about a different topic, or getting involved in a hobby that requires your attention. Practicing this regularly can lead to better mental health and more peaceful relationships, as you're less likely to react negatively to new or ongoing challenges. Over time, this approach helps build resilience, enabling you to handle life's challenges more effectively without becoming overwhelmed. By understanding and practicing the art of putting down the glass, you empower yourself to lead a more balanced and fulfilling life, keeping your mind clear for the things that truly matter.